those games have like their own stereotype that certain people see it. But if you think about it, there's still a loyalty in that.
Okay. I mean, I would imagine it is, and not that I know too much about them.
Hmm.
I know that there's an initiation process, to get into it usually. And, I've been around individuals from that way of life. And it's I I think, that from when when I was growing up, there were, a few games, but it
Hmm.
was mostly crews. We had like the Uptown crew, the 17th Ave crew, you know, different
Hmm.
types of crews. So that was something that, you know, you became a part of because of your connection with the individuals. I
Hmm.
don't know. I don't know if the game is that way, that you become a part of it out of connection for the individuals, more so than maybe to be protected.
Right,
Some people. So that's my take. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, hopefully we could, get someone who is a part of it, of that type of lifestyle, and we can, get
right,
further information from them.
right. But to get back to your point about relationships, like I said, the different types of relationships that you build trust and loyalty. Um, as far as family, I
Right,
believe in 2023, and it's just my opinion.
right. That's all going on. That's what I asked for.
Sometimes, sometimes water is thicker than blood. It seems these days. I don't.
Okay.
I'm trying to say you can meet somebody. In my case, my
Right.
family, my family's all down south,
Right.
so
Okay.
everyone that's around me is all water,
Right.
and that water is really a really strong commodity in my life.
Okay.
Sometimes you call on another person before you actually call on your family.
Yeah. Well, I like to look at it as we all a family. You know what I mean? We all a
Right, right,
family, and we build bonds with individuals that are, so, like as you said, out of our bloodline.
right.
However, we build relationships, and that bond be just as close, if not closer,
That's
sometimes
family.
than people with your same bloodline.
Hmm.
You know, so
Yeah,
so that's the way I see it sometimes. And being that you did say something about families, I think that's where we are a little weak when it comes to family relationships.
yes.
I think we can use some improvement when it comes to family relationships. What do you think?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it starts at home. That's all I keep hearing. It starts at home. It starts at home. I mean, um, you know, I like to say, uh, Big Mama not here no more.
Right.
We don't have a Big Mama anymore. Big Mama is the one that kept the family right, kept the family in order. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And
Right.
we don't
Right.
have our Big Mama, so now we're living the generation where our parents are so young. Our grandmother is so young that we don't have that down south country, um, that mama.
that southern hospitality and that southern discipline and
Yes.
upbringing with the respect factor.
There
That's
you go.
that's what you're talking about.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, and I agree. I agree with you. Um, and to some degree, I think there, that back in the day, it seemed that yeah, they were older, but they had children young too. But I think the key factor was they were more responsible when it came to the children and the upbringing of the children, and they took it serious as being parents more so, I think, than nowadays. I think
Right.
nowadays individuals are more self-absorbed and not so much into like, okay, children first, me next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think a lot of them are. I'm doing me. My children come second. You
Yes.
know.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I believe that. I see that a lot. Uh, what? Our kids are growing up so fast. Hey, that's number one. Our kids are growing up fast. My daughter is 13 already. My
Okay.
youngest daughter is 13. My oldest
Right.
daughter is 15.
Right. Okay.
And they're
Teenagers.
growing,
Okay.
yes, they're teenagers. They're growing up so fast. And it's very important that we, as parents, give them the proper tools that they need and the lessons that they're going to face in life. But if we're not there, if we're not going to teach them, the world will.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree, and I think not just they're not just growing up fast physically with age. I think that they're growing
Mentally,
up because they're being exposed to a whole lot more now.
yes,
With social media and phones and tablets, they have access to pretty much anything in the world now. You know,
yeah, yeah,
so with that being said, that means we have to, strive to monitor them and be able to, like, as you said, give them the life lessons. And if we're not available, which it appears that a lot of us are not always available due to having to make a living to support our children,
yeah, yes.
you know, and
That's another thing. Parents that a lot of single parents that have to work 12 to 13 hours, just to survive, just to make it to give their kids the life that they have. And it's hard because this society is not set to better you. It's here to work you,
I
you know?
agree. I agree. I totally agree. I think that I have a little saying. I say that the majority of us are getting pimped, because we're not. I don't think that we're getting the wages for the amount of work that we're doing. Many of us, you know.
Right.
So in that case, we're getting pimped. It's sad, but I would say that is true because we see it in all different walks of life. I mean, I don't know if you saw Terrence Howard, talking about hustle and flow and saying he only got a few G's for it, you
Right.
know? So here
Right.
we looking at him like he's a millionaire, he's telling us, he's struggling, you
Right.
know? So I mean, so imagine the parent that's working the 9 to 5,
yes,
and as you mentioned, a single parent.
yes,
You know, so that alone creates some difficulties for the children because one parent working and trying to take care of the children, I mean, there's not enough hours in the day to actually do the type of job that needs to be done,
yes.
you know?
And another thing on that point, a lot of children that are not mentally strong, that don't understand that mommy or daddy's at work because they have to, they're not mentally strong to understand that, and they think that their mom don't love them or their dad don't love them, and they don't be around them, you know? So that's another thing you have to worry about.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And the sad part about that is now the streets have open arms, you know? So
Open arms, man.
and the thing about the streets is the streets are unforgiving. And nowadays they're not compassionate.
Oh,
So if your child get caught up in the street life, I mean it's a 7 out of 10 chance that, you know, something's bad gonna happen to them,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So I mean, what do you think we how do you think we approach that to better that situation? What do you think we need to do to get that get this in some type of order where we can make it better for our children?
Um, and to be honest with you, brother, I only thing I can say about that is there's a lot of job opportunities in 2024.
Okay.
Um, Nowadays, a lot of people that went to college and they got degrees and whatever they got degrees in, not even in that field anymore. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? They're
Yeah.
working doing something totally different. So I feel like if you can find an entrepreneur job or something that's a work from home, something that you could give your child at least enough time, even if you don't work on the weekends, and you make sure you spend weekends with them. But our kids need our help. Cause there's a lot of parents that don't work, and the first thing they do, give their child the iPad. Here, go sit down. Here,
Right.
take the
Right.
phone. Go sit down.
Right.
In the past couple of years, bro, I say the past 5 years, 6 years, that's been a lot of parents go to the iPad.
Well, that's the new babysitter, you
Yeah,
know, and it's cheap. You don't have to pay for it. You know, you give them the iPad, send them in the room, and you go about your business. You know,
yeah.
however, unless you got a child proof where they're only able to get to certain things, then you don't know what your children are getting into.
Oh,
You know, so that's the sad part about
we
it. Now,
tried getting my daughter. We tried getting my daughter a cell phone 3 times. 3 times. Cause we thought she was ready,
right?
and she wasn't ready at all.
Okay. So, would you want to share what brought you to that conclusion?
Um, I hate to think about it because I get so angry. But maybe this story can help or open the eyes to some other parents that just give their child the phone and don't think about what your child's doing. We found my daughter. Um, she had met this kid on what's that? Not Facebook. Snapchat,
Snap. Okay. All right. Snapchat. Okay.
and um, he sent her messages about Snapchatting certain body parts,
Mm. Wow.
and
Okay.
I just going through the texts. I can see she really likes the kid.
Right. Right.
And the thing that got me angry is how many times she said rise, rise,
Right.
rise. So that shows you the mentality of my daughter at that time was confused. Why did he want to see this? Why you want me to do this?
Right. Right.
But you should tell
Which.
that the kid is more educated and he knew what he wanted, you know?
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah, that was one incident that I just felt like she's not ready for a phone, man. Not yet.
I mean, to her defense, at least she asked the key question: why? Adults
Right.
don't even ask. A lot of adults don't even ask why when certain situations occur. They just go along with it. So at least t- took the time to stop and think and say, "Why do you want it? Explain this to me. Why you want me to do it?" Which put him on the spot to have to come up with, something, a reason for her to feel like, okay, is this a
Right.
good reason? you
Right.
know so I commend her for that because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other young girls who are just doing it. They're not even asking why. They're
Asking
just,
questions, yeah.
yeah, they just taking the pictures and putting it up there, you
So,
know? So I commend it. And that means you're doing a pretty good job, brother. That
trying,
means you're doing
man.
a pretty good
Trying.
job. And one of the things I think, and this is my personal opinion, I think that we're not, you know, we're not having enough fathers being involved, you know, on a consistent basis,
Mm-hmm.
especially when they're not in the relationship with the mother. Once it's like they're separate, they're in separate houses, or it comes to something where the relationship ends and it appears that you know either the guy or the mother or the father take the position to uh, hold a child hostage,
Yeah.
where you can't see the child unless you see me, this type of thing. And I
Right.
think that is that is doing so much damage to the child. It's not really affecting the parents, but it's definitely affecting the child because the child is similar to, like you said, when the parent at work, they wonder whether the other parent loves them because the parent don't spend enough time with them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so I think if and this is to any woman or man that has children and you're not together, please find a way to co-parent where
Yeah.
it's healthy for the children because it took both of you to make the baby, so it should take both of you to raise the baby.
Yes.
You know,
You're right. You're
so
right.
so I think that is something that definitely needs to be done more so in our community.
Yeah, you're right. You're right because I have five children and I have four baby mothers, and I
Okay,
can't say I am the best one-to-one father in the world to all of my kids. I'm not
right,
going to sit here and lie.
right.
Um, a lot of times you fall victim to time. Sometimes you get so caught up in your own life, especially when you're in a whole total different relationship. You get so tied up into your relationship to where before you know it, time just goes. And for my two youngest children are my the one I've been there from day one.
Okay.
And my oldest son doesn't talk to me.
And how old
I
is he?
really, he's
How old is he?
25.
Okay.
We have a strange relationship to where when we do see each other, it's like we were together yesterday. But there's no effort, you know,
Right.
in building a everyday relationship,
Okay.
you know. Um,
Yeah.
I
And
also
who
think
and who part is that on? Whose part? Who would you say is, if anybody was at fault, who you say were at fault with that?
I would say it's upbringing. It's upbringing. Um, not being taught about what a father is. I had to wait until he turned 18 to really ask about me, to see, I want to go see my dad, and now I'm 18, you can't stop me.
Oh, okay. So you're saying it was one of the situations that we were discussing early, where the mother was basically keeping them away from you, that type of thing.
Yeah. You know what? It's a difference between taking them away and just not teaching them that it's not a choice to go see your father.
Oh, okay. So you're saying, instead of, if he say I don't want to see my dad, but I'm surprised because you know most children ask, where my dad at, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's what I
You
that's
know,
what I would.
she made me feel like I was a treat. I was a treat, or I was a go fun. Instead of being a father, I was more of a, oh, if you don't be good, you ain't gonna go see your father.
Oh,
You
okay.
know what I'm
So you
saying?
were you were you were more or less a reward.
Right. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
And
Okay.
like when I did go pick him up, they go pick him up, man. And I'll take him to the best restaurants. I'll take him to Hoover Hands. I'll take him to Red Lobster. It seems like, yo, he don't want to go there. He want McDonald's. And I'm
Right.
like, huh? What?
Okay.
You know?
I mean, yeah. I mean, as you said, if that's what he was used to having, and as a child, that's what he's used to having. I mean,
Yeah.
I had a situation with my daughter. Now that you said McDonald's, you know, I have a daughter, that I was. Well, I have two daughters, and both of them I was estranged from their life, and that's what those are two of my biggest regrets. Not being in their lives from day one all the way through. But circumstances came up, and it ended up being that way. I'm in both of their lives now. However, my one daughter, she used to love McDonald's, and anytime I pick her up, that's where she wanted to go, and that's why I take her. And then one day I decided not to take her, and she was hot with me. She was mad. What? No McDonald's? No, you eat too much of that fast food. So I tried to do a teachable moment, but it backfired on me.
Right.
So it could go either way, especially when you're not in the household with the child.
Yeah.
You know, that is something that I would say to any young person out there that's in a new relationship and you don't have any children. Please be mindful, get to know each other well enough that if a child is born, you're going to stick together and raise that child. And if you're not going to stick together and raise that child, at least be able to co-parent and make sure that you stay in that child's life throughout their life.
Yeah.
That's my suggestion to any young person out
Yeah. You're right. You're 100% right, man. You're 100% right. It's more harder when you date a woman and you accept the child that she has, and then like basically you're dating a woman that's a single parent,
there. Right.
and then you as a boyfriend build a bond with that child, and then as soon as you break up with that girl, you break up with the child too.
Mm, yeah. That's a good point. That's a real good point. And who knows how often that happens. You know what I mean? How often that a child gets familiar with the individual
Yes,
and gets comfortable with the individual, and then the relationship ends, and now that individual is out of their life,
yes,
you know? And so that becomes a actual loss for the child,
right. So I tell
you know?
every man that's listening, you're dating a woman that has a child, and if that child coming to you when it fall down, and you're picking him up, and you're wiping his knees off, or you're teaching him how to throw a football, or you're having tea time, with the little girl. Like, just remember, man, it's hard. I know it's hard, but if something happens in your relationship, try hard to at least acknowledge the child, because a fragile brain can be, how would you say it? Can be, um,
Could be detrimental. Could be
yes,
detrimental
detrimental.
to the child's well-being
Yes,
throughout their life, you know?
yes. And a lot of times they wonder why your kid is lashing out in school and not getting the same grades they were getting before. And that's why. Because what goes on at home affects them in school as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree with you that that's a major factor of how children interact in school. I mean, I used to do mentoring, and during my mentoring times, I used to go into young male's house, and sometimes they had nothing to eat. You know, parent was you know struggling with substance abuse. So for children like that, you know, what do we do to help them? You know, and
Right.
it was like I would teach them life skills, how to wash their clothes, you know, how to buy you know underarm deodorant, cosmetics, things of that nature. You know, teach them, look a person in the eye when when they speak to you, you
right,
know,
right,
stand straight up, and make sure that you keep your word. Whenever you give somebody your word, you keep your word. I was teaching them things like that,
yes,
but when they go home, I had no control over, what would happen
yes,
when they get home,
right,
you know?
right, right.
So, so personally, I think we need to get back to what we used to be when we had the village, when
Mm-hmm.
everyone played a part in helping to raise the children.
Right, right.
When there was neighborhoods instead of just hoods, where
Mm-hmm.
you actually knew everybody that lived on your neighborhood. You
Right,
could go
right.
to uh, Miss Jones and get a carton of milk, or you know a box of cereal or some sugar, and then you reimburse her later on. That type of thing.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I think we need to get back to that, because there should be no child going to school hungry when we have individuals walking around with $200 sneakers on, $300 jeans, and things of that nature. So no child should be hungry when we
Oh,
have
bro.
that going on in our neighborhoods, in our community.
Right.
So and it goes back to what I was saying earlier, that we need to strengthen our relationships with each other. When we were talking last night, and you were saying that, like, what it's things that we could do. Some of the blame falls on us, and
Mm-hmm.
I agree. When it comes to building relationships, we have to take full responsibility when it comes to that, because you don't need a lot of money to build good relationships. You don't have to be rich to have good relationships. You just need to learn how to communicate and be open minded, and not judgmental of people that's different from
Yes.
you.
Yes.
I think that's a key component that we can work on, that we don't need no help from anybody, and it doesn't matter who's in office, or any of that. We can start building healthy relationships with each other, by
Yes.
dialogue. Like you and I, we don't always agree on everything, but we dialogue till we find some common ground,
Yes. Yes.
you know?
Definitely. The same way, these organizations started, the same way these um gangs have started, we can actually start because it just takes a certain group of people, like you were saying a couple of weeks ago, talking to you. If we can get 5 to 10 people in each state, and just to focus on one agenda, you know, this can spread. I believe we can help each other. But it seems like every time we get a leader, they end up getting killed, or they end up corrupting their own people.
Uh, a, a terrific point with that. I mean, and that seems to be the option. The option may either be you sell out, or you get
Killed, yeah,
verbally
yeah,
you get verbally disgraced, or you get murdered. Because I look at what's going on the internet now, where you see, Puffy, you know, aka Diddy, getting roasted. He's getting roasted, and it's basically, okay, now that he has Revolt, he had a channel, Revolt, something where he had media, some access to media where he could have created jobs. Now, to me, this is my own personal belief that whatever he's been doing it prior to that. So it didn't just happen once he got Revolt, but now that
Yeah.
he has Revolt, something that can be used, a vehicle that can be used to change the images of what's being portrayed to us. Now his image is being tarnished.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
same with Tyler Perry, with the big studio that he has. They got him right up in there with Puffy. He's co-defended. And for me, I've seen that show too many times. I've seen the show where they use us to attack us, as you said, like, when they use us to feed off of each other. They use us to take from us. They also use us to attack each other. So
Mm-hmm.
we're being used as the tools to either cipher from each other or destroy each other.
Yeah. Build and destroy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's something that we have to start to recognize. We have to do like what your daughter did. Start asking why. Why is they doing this to Tyler Perry? Why is they doing this to Diddy? And why now are they doing it? You know what I'm saying? We got to ask that
Yeah.
question
Yeah.
because yeah. What do you think?
The same thing as on Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby is about ABC before he got tied up in that scandal. You know? And so,
Right.
and so that makes a lot of sense what you just said. As
Yeah.
soon as a black man get in a certain position, it seems like that folder that they have on you opens right up, right on the table. But either you start doing this, or it's over for you.
Well,
You know?
I mean, yeah, and see, that's why I say that our most treasured commodity is each other and building good, healthy relationships with each other so that we protect each other more so than throw each other out there to, to the dogs. You know,
That's why I
go
tell
ahead.
people it's very important when you're in a certain position to do something. You cannot forget about your people. Because at the end of the day, when you fall from that high horse, only thing you got is us.
Absolutely, absolutely. We saw that back in the day with OJ.
I
You
was just
know,
going to say that. Yep. All day is the juice. So he realized, you
till they start squeezing all the juice out of them.
know what I'm talking
You
about?
know what I
For
mean?
real, man.
Yes.
Michael
So
Jackson. Michael
yeah,
Jackson did the
yeah,
same thing.
right.
You
And
know?
that's the American machine, the United States of American machine. That they do that to us, no matter and no matter how much money you have, it still appears that okay, we come and get you.
Yep.
If you do something we don't like, we coming to get
Yeah.
you. You know.
You're right.
So to me, it's basically about the control and the power. You know,
Yep.
that's and that's why I use the scenario or the analogy that America is pimping the black people because pimps, it's not solely about the money. It's also about that control and the power that the pimp has over the woman. You know, so and that's why it makes me feel that way that they're doing that to us. You know, still there. I lost you, brother.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, all right. All right, you had to readjust. Okay. Yeah, so that's just how I look at it when it comes to that particular situation. That we in a predicament that we actually have the power to get out of, but we're not going to be able to do it alone. At the end of the
Right.
day, it's going to take a significant number, a significant number. It does to make the changes that we need as a family, as a community, as a people. We don't need everybody. We just need the right people with the right mind to make this happen, to do what we need to
You're right.
do.
Yes.
Now what we do need the majority of us to do is to be more family oriented and make sure that our children are being morally and virtuous, where they have virtues, morals, and respect for themselves and for others. Those are right now we've gotten to a point, many of us have gotten to a point, and I say we, and I include me in it, even though I'm not that way anymore because I used to be that, a part of that. Like at the end of
Right.
the day, it's basically many of us are just going through life, just just having fun,
Right.
or
Right.
just getting caught up in what we look like on the outside and not focusing on good characteristics, you know.
Right.
So I think that's something that we have to really start reining in when it comes to us as a whole, as a family.
Right.
There's So what do you think?
Yeah. I do believe that. Us as a whole, we do need to do better for ourselves. I had met this guy, and I know you guys look at me. I'm in the liquor store. Yeah, I'm not here drinking. I'm not
uh,
here. I'm not here tossing a bottle up. As you see, I got my water, my Curly Spring.
right,
Um,
right, right.
I had met the gentleman that owns the store. He's about 37,
Oh,
and
okay.
he's from India. They're
Right.
Indian,
Okay.
and everyone knows how the book, the Andre Williams story, available on
Yes.
Amazon.com about my life story and things like that. And I also do have a clothing line.
Right.
So he allows you to be in here, setting up my stuff. And it's a couple of workers that work here as well. And it's his mother, his brother, his sister comes to help,
Mm.
and
Family
you know,
family business. Basically a family business.
yeah. And we had a lot of conversations, and he teaches me about his culture. I talk to him about my culture, and I just wish that we had the same passion that other people have when they come here. You know, a lot of times we sit here and say, "Oh, we don't got this, or we don't got that," but compared to other countries, we got a lot. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But we
Yeah,
have to put
I hear you.
ourselves in a our mentality has to get off of thinking that someone owes us something. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
It's
yeah.
okay. It's okay to um know your history and do all that, but also never forget about your grind, and your hustle. God put a lot into us, and the most important thing that He gave us is choice. And it's very important that we use choice to make the best decisions, not for ourselves, for our family, for our friends, so we can be better people as a whole. It's like you preach every day, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what it's about. Being the best version of yourself
Yes, yes,
each and every day, striving for that. And I I hear what you're saying when you say that, you know, some of us feel like life owes us something. And I think, that comes from upbringing as well. When you have a child and you give them everything without them earning it, it creates that mindset that I can get what I want and I don't have to do nothing for it. So that's something that parents have to be more aware of, you
yes,
know?
yes.
So specifically my from what I've gathered and what I've seen, mothers and their sons. And some of the sisters may get angry at me for saying that, but I've seen mothers do more for their sons when their sons really don't deserve it. Buying them things, giving them things, and they don't deserve it. They're not doing something to really earn what they're being given. And
Yeah.
ultimately, you know, once the mother decides or she's unable to give it to them,
Mhm.
then a lot of those individuals go out and take it.
Yeah.
They go out and take it from somebody else who has it. So, that's just, my view. That's my
Right.
opinion on what I think can help that situation of those of us who, those individuals who have that mindset. For me, no, I don't want nothing, nobody to give me anything that I don't earn. However, at the same time, I don't want people blocking me from getting to what I'm what I'm striving to
Right.
get. I don't want obstacles thrown in the way either. You know,
Right.
that's that. So when and this is my opinion based on what I've seen, that there's not a thing that we as a people don't want anything, because there's many of us who are entrepreneurs, many of us who are go-getters, and many of us get obstacles thrown in our way, and so much red tape till you know you end up giving up. You
There
give
you go.
up a lot of
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
And me personally, I believe it's by design to make foreigners come to the country and look at us as though we don't want anything. So what it
Right.
does to the foreigners is they want to stay away from us. They don't want to
Yeah.
come and work with us and help us grow together. It's no, stay away from them because they don't want nothing. And to me, I think that's just as deliberately done as images that being shown about us that really don't reflect a large majority of us.
Yeah.
Because when we hear, okay, plenty of times you hear black on black killing. Now, when you really do the statistics, it's probably about the same amount that's doing that type of stuff as it is what they call rogue police. You know,
Yeah.
so so it's easy to say, excuse me, when you're dealing with individuals who, or you see individuals that's doing something that contradicts or goes against humanity, to say, okay, those that's what those people doing. Because how many times have many people say, I don't like police based on what a few of them did. So
Right.
to me, it's the similar mindset that people get about us. Because I I know for a fact there's more people going to work every day trying to make a living, trying to feed their children, than out there killing each other.
Yeah. You're right.
I know that, I know it's more than that. So
You're right.
now our goal is, of course, we want to get whatever the number is now, we want to decrease that number.
Right.
We want to decrease that number of people going out there killing each other. Ultimately, the goal is to get us where none of us kill each other.
Right.
That's the ultimate goal. That's what we want. But that's going to take work. That's going to take commitment.
Yeah. You're
What do you
right, man.
say?
Yeah, it is. It's gonna take a lot of commitment. It's gonna take effort. It's gonna take some strong people to really assist with this. Um, but I believe it can happen. I believe anything's possible if you put your mind to it. You
And you living proof of that. You living
know?
proof of that. You know what I'm saying? So you're not saying nothing you don't know. You
Right.
know? I
So, but
mean,
listen, real quick. Won't you,
go ahead.
I'm just gonna take a bathroom break. Won't you tell the people about your project that you got coming up? And I will be right back.
Okay. All right.
Uh,
Okay, everybody. We got a project coming out called the 17th Ave crew, aka Knowledge God Ave. It's gonna be a documentary about 17th Ave, Knowledge God Ave, Patterson, New Jersey, the lifestyle of individuals from, the 80s on up. And the reason that we are doing this is to show that what we have, what we have and what we're capable of when we deal with each other with love and respect. Because I have brothers. They're far beyond friends because we've known each other for many of us 30 plus years. And when we together, it's like we never left. And I, along with them, know that that's something rare and that's something beautiful that we need to spread. It needs to spread across this land, and we need to start duplicating that type of bond with each other, especially when it comes to us as males. Me, I like to say more because we're more than anything, any and every other thing that we call ourselves. We're more than that. So be on the lookout for it. It should be coming out soon. We want you guys to check it out. And of course, leave comments about today's show. I'm really happy that I got my good brother Dre to come on, and I think that I'm going to be doing more of this because it's less work for me for one thing, and we get the chance to get someone else's point of view other than mine. We get the chance to dialogue because that's what it's going to take for us as a whole, as a family, people, be able to do what it is that we need to do. Somehow, I don't know if we got frozen. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. We froze up. I don't know, you know, I don't know what happened, Dre. I'd have froze up. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can hear me? Like I froze up somehow. I had a phone call, and now my image is froze. I don't know what happened to my image. It froze up, in the middle of me explaining about the project, you know.
Right.
So I
So you back out and come back in? Oh no.
I I don't know. This, you know, I don't know. Let me try it. Let me try something. Yeah, I don't know because my brother was calling me, and I reached out to end his call, and it got me like reaching. I'm just still, I'm
Oh
still
man.
on there. So, but I mean, basically, we had pretty much almost got to the time anyway,
Yeah,
you
definitely,
know,
man.
and again, I appreciate you for coming on. You know what I'm saying? Looking forward to having you back.
Sure.
And
Anytime.
so it's been my pleasure, man, and it's always a pleasure to dialogue with you. So until next time, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
There you
You
go.
know,
All right,
Uh,
thank you for having me, man. Bless this show. All my subscribers, that if you're watching this, please go follow Peep Game TV. You'll learn a lot. Um, thank you for watching, and thank you, Charlie.
thank you.